Fatigue is its own sort of monster to have to deal with.
It is.
So fun fact, Nate and Gio played each other in Swiss, and Gio lost to Nate, but beat Brian in Top Cut. So really interesting. I've had I was to say, you played Brian, and then I played Nate.
Nate and Gio. I played all three of them.
So interestingly enough, you beat Brian, lost to Nate, lost to Gio.
It was close. With Nate, I was so fatigued. I was so done.
The interesting thing here is that with Nate's team, or the way that Nate plays his team is, I think, a little bit different than the way I've seen Brian play. Of course, I've only seen Brian play it like once, and that was against you. I know for sure that Gio put the Scream Tail on here specifically for the Armor Rouge and DD matchup, so it's kind of funny that it's shown up. Like,
yeah, I think the biggest difference between Nate and Brian was mainly Terraing into Armor Rouge. I saw a lot of Terra on Dondozo, and then afterwards there was not really Terra on Armor Rouge or to grass, which was kind of the big thing.
I think that was the most important.
The most important call, because that's hard to deal with when you have the earthquake on the field.
When you have the Yabungas that can't do anything. But Gio starting us off with Meowscarada and Great Time versus Mouseshield and Armor Rouge. Nate really loves this combination.
Well, it definitely works. Great Tusk is pretty solid here. It does have. And as long as it's carrying Ice Spinner here, then it can hit Armor Rouge whether it Terras or not. Mousehold's going to definitely, with Friend Guard, helps it out here. Meowscarada, though, I mean, it outspeeds a lot, and if the Meow, it is Focus Sash, so Mousehold will most likely take a hit from it, but you're going to get your Trick Room up, sacrificing your Mousehold guaranteed, pretty much.
And the Mousehold's going to be like, I don't like this. It's tiny and scared, and it's going to hide behind and protect this turn. Actually, Armor is also going to protect. I actually really appreciate that. I think double protects on turn ones are also really nice sometimes, because you can at least kind of figure out what's happening as we see the Masquerada going for the knockoff into the Armor Rouge here. We're going to see that Great Tusk go for the Headlong Rush, actually kind of doubling down into what is that Armor Rouge spot. Yeah,
that is definitely something. And now it's mind games, because Gio went for the double down onto Armor Rouge. Now the question is, do you continue with that knowing it can't protect, or do you target the Mousehold, kind of getting into Nate's head, being like, okay, well, I did this the first turn, now I'm going to switch it up. And once you get into those mind games, that's where people really start to slip or make interesting calls.
You still do it, right? Because
I would double up on.
Well, because Mousehold has Follow Me, so it doesn't even matter if you double up in the Armor, right? So Follow Me here is actually still just really nice. In terms of the item that Mousehold is holding, the Sleeping Goggles doesn't really matter as much here, but the problem that that Gio has to figure out is he can't really stop Trick Room, and that's the hardest part here, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Is the Follow Me is really unfortunate, but you can't stop Trick Room from happening, and you just sort of have to accept that. So Dragonite actually coming onto the field in place of that Meowscarada. Dragonite's just like, okay, well, if Trick Room's gonna happen, Trick Room's gonna happen.
I think that's probably smart. Definitely gotta watch out for that Psychic Terrain. However, Dragonite does Ice Spinner, so I'm guessing there may be something with that, especially now that Armor Rouge is Grass and Dragonite is tanky enough to take some hits. I wouldn't be surprised if they go for an Ice Spinner just to try and get rid of that, but constant Follow Me's makes it really tough if you don't have a spread move, which right now, Dragonite does get...
Well, there's Earthquake.
The only thing is Earthquake.
Not really going to do much down to the Armor Rouge, because, again, Friend Guard, yeah, that critical hit totally, was fantastic there. Both the Grass Terra and the Friend Guard actually really nice here for that Armor Rouge, right? So Trick Room is going to go up this turn, and Gio is actually going to be in a little bit of trouble, because normally you have control of the speed with the Great Tusk and the Dragonite. The Terra typing here on Armor Rouge makes it so that your Great Tusk is in a little bit of trouble. The Friend Guard is still going to put Armor Rouge in a really good spot. So
Great Tusk going to go ahead and switch out here. And swapping now in is Scream Tail, which it's a bit fast but super bulky, and right now pretty solid, I'd say. It's got possible screens, possible support. We're going to see the Photosynthesis activate, and that is going to activate into speed. So not very good in Trick Room here. Armor is going to protect here, leaving just Nuzzled and Dragonite to do their thing. And I think this is quite interesting. Super Fang from Mousehold. That's
annoying.
That is gonna have Dragonite's health, and it goes for a Dragon Call onto the Mousehold. That was really interesting. Also, now you know that Dragonite's Choice Bandit, so it's locked onto Dragon Call. That is going to be interesting. Put some pressure. I don't think it's really going to matter if with the NDD comes out here. It is a physical attack, and that is really good, because not known for its physical attack usually, even with the Bowl 252 investment. So it's really going to come down to whether this Armor is able to do enough damage onto the Scream Tail and Dragonite, and at 50%, it may be able to.
The wild thing too, though, is if you're looking at this matchup, right, Armor, that Grass Armor is defensive, that the defensive Terra is just really frustrating. The fact that Super Fang was able to connect, if you're Gio, that's just a little bit annoying because you lose the multi-scale. So Dragonite, for those of you who might not know, Super Fang actually just does half health, so it will ignore the fact that multi-scale is still intact for that Dragonite.
There's the helping hand coming out.
That's probably going into the Dragonite for an armor cannon just because you really want to.
No, it's going to the Scream Tail.
Oh gosh. I'm assuming that this is just a continuation of their earlier matches, and Scream Tail holds on. This thing is screaming until it gets knocked out, everybody. Armor is going to lose some of that HP thanks to that Life Orb. Dragonite going for the Dragon Claw into the Armor.
And that's going to get rid of Armor. Now you're in an interesting spot. Nate does have NDD and does have Dazzling Gleam, but that's the only attacking move on that NDD. And we're going to see a Light Screen come up, so if there is a special attacker in the back, then, which that is, it's Tatsugiri, that's going to cause a lot of trouble because it's now going to have this special attack here. Yeah, the good news though for Geo is he's got all 4 of his Pokemon left. The bad news is all of them are weak to Fairy, and EDD can't do that much, but like you're gonna chunk whatever comes out is gonna get chunked from that Dazzling Gleam, and then it's really gonna come down to Tatsugiri what it chooses here. We see its choice spec, so it's a matter of what move it chooses, and if that combo can just knock out the Meowscarada and Great Tusk in the back before Trick Room runs out.
I mean, the other thing too is that like if you can just at least wait out Trick Room, right? Like that's the other big thing is that hey, Indeedee can't really do much on its own. So honestly, if you get rid of the Tatsugiri, right, at that point it's just a waiting game. So sure, Dragonite is locked into Dragon Claw.
Switching out the Dragonite.
Just kidding, it's not locked in anymore. Yeah, so Dragonite's gonna get switched out here. So Geo's actually gonna go for the Meowscarada. Meowscarada at least has a little bit of a fighting chance potentially because it will have that Sash attack. Indeedee is gonna break it with that Dazzling Gleam though. Scream Tail gonna go down. Not that it really had much HP left in the end. Tatsugiri going for the Muddy Water.
Single target choice specs Muddy Water does quite a bit.
Seeing Muddy Water. I have so much trauma from Tapu Fini.
Okay, so now one thing that's interesting is we did not see a Terastral from Geo.
I don't even know what Nate clicked. That was so fast.
That was really fast.
That was Dazzling Gleam Muddy Water.
Helping hand Muddy Water. That's going to do pretty dang solid, I think. It's almost certainly going to knock out Great Tusk unless it protects. Question is now, will it knock out Meowscarada? I'm pretty sure it will. I think at that health, it should. Unless it also double protects.
I mean, that's totally understandable, right? Because if you're Geo, you're still burning Trick Room turns here. So
absolutely, that's the right call. That was the right call.
If you're looking at also too the history of Muddy Water, for those of you who are joining us for VGC for the first time and did not have to worry about Tapu Fini, Muddy Water is one of those moves that is Muddy Water misses more than it hits. So the fact that it hit that Meowscarada is insane. But more importantly, Trick Room has expired.
And I think that's really good news for Geo because
he's actually in speed tier lead right now, right?
Yeah, so, and because well, yeah, even with I'm pretty sure Meowscarada is able to outspeed both the Pokemon on Nate's side, and one more turn until Psychic Train goes away. I think if I remember correctly.
All you really need to do is just get rid of the Tatsugiri.
Yeah, if you get Tatsugiri, and then as soon as that's over, then Dragonite can basically
do its best, but you know it might not be enough.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think if you're okay losing your Meowscarada here, all you could just really do is you attack and then just go for an Earthquake, most likely.
Yeah, you just double up on Tatsugiri.
Interesting.
There's the Terra.
Is he gonna Terra his Great Tusk? Great Tusk Steel.
Yeah, Terra Steel Great Tusk.
That's gross. Okay, that's gross. I don't like that. I mean, you know, it's actually fantastic because when you don't have to worry about the Muddy Water anymore, you don't have to worry about the Dazzling Gleam.
Which are the only 2 attacks that you're going to be dealing with.
And he was like, hey, follow me with that giant axe on your head, Great Tusk. And Great Tusk said, sure, why not? But
starting with that flower trick, it's going to
hit every single time.
And it's a physical defense move. As long as this Great Tusk can, with that headlong rush, as long as it can really clear out here, yeah. Okay, now it's interesting because it does drop its defense. Is the Terastral the Steel going to be enough to survive the Muddy Water choice specs? I think it will. I think that's pretty much it. But it's really going to come down to Muddy Water here.
I don't think it really matters much though because Meowscarada,
yeah, wow, okay, it doesn't even knock out.
It would actually matters here for that Meowscarada just in case. What's really interesting though is that you're in a spot now where you're now trying to get rid of the terrain because Dragonite is like in a great spot where it can just be like, yeah, I'll just keep attacking and like it won't really matter.
I think it's pretty much over. Geo just needs to click whatever to Tatsu.
Once things have missed once an accuracy drop has happened, you leave nothing to chance.
I didn't. Okay,
you still do have a chance to miss, right? Like
you do, but it didn't drop on both. If I'm
it didn't, but
and I think pretty sure Tatsugiri will go down here to a headlong, but I don't know. It's just based on like how Tatsugiri's like. It is HP investment, but even then, like, after the end of this turn,
there you go. At least you didn't miss the flower trick.
There you go.
You hate to see it usually.
Yeah, that's the knockout. So Gio gonna take game 1.
Yeah, that was actually kind of. I think that Scream Tail surviving actually kind of mattered in the end, honestly enough.
Yeah, it did, because at the end of the day, Gio's the main reason I think Gio won here is because you stalled out the Trick Room, and after that, after you had the speed control, that was it. Because otherwise, the Dazzling Gleam plus Muddy Water or Helping Hand plus Muddy Water combo would have been able to basically sweep the rest of the team, except for Dragonite. But then Dazzling Gleam does solid, and if you Terra it, you're gonna take the Choice Specs Muddy Water. So I think after just stalling that Trick Room out really helped Gio. That I think was, and the Scream Tail surviving was able to stall it out even more. So
yeah,
I think that did.
The problem is a couple things have to go Gio's way that I think Nate can actually easily fix, right? Gio understands that his best win condition is denying any sort of Trick Room from happening, and that's actually really easy for Nate to just be like, hey, I'm gonna stop you from stopping my Trick Room, because he has all the tools there, right? Between the Mousehold, the Indeedee, and the Armorers, you have a lot of tools at your disposal to just sort of be like, hey, you know what? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, as long as you got Follow Me and Terra Grass, that thing's setting up Trick Room pretty much.
You can say no to Trick Room, but that's okay because I'm still going to make it happen. So I think an adjustment into Iron Hand might actually be really interesting here. I feel like it could do a lot of damage to a lot of things. Drain Punch and Thunder Punch alone just does a lot.
It's in a good spot too, I'd say, because it's really physically bulky. And if you look at Gio's team, it's got about one special attacker, and that's Goldengo. And if you've got Goldengo, you can't really hit it, but like if you're belly, I believe this is belly drum, Iron Hands here, and if you just belly drum Thunder Punch, Golden can't really hit you very much. So I think that is a really solid pick here, because you're even Dragonite with the Choice Band, you're going to tank a lot of hits and then can just Drain Punch up.
The hard part about stuff like this is once you've played each other in Swiss and then you meet each other in Top Cut, the hardest part is it's a continuation of your Swiss games, and that makes it really freaking annoying, because all of a sudden you go from like a best of 3 to like a best of like 6, right? Like, it's actually basically a best of 7 or like and stuff. And actually an adjustment from Gio, but not from Nate. Again, Nate really loving that sort of Mousehold Armorage. It's actually been great tusking Goldengo.
Very interesting lead. I think this is
aggressive as heck, though.
You have a lot of options if you're Gio. You've got Make It Rain, you've got Shadow Ball, you've got Headlong Rush, Earthquake, Close Combat. You can, it's mind games, exactly. And then the question is, do you Terra, do you not Terra? Like, I still think Terra to Grass is relatively safe, but if you do, you're going to get hit with a pretty heavy Make It Rain, assuming, and maybe possibly Terra Seal, Make It Rain knockout. It may, the hard part is, will KO the Mousehold, and I think that's the hard part, because if you can get rid of the Mousehold, it doesn't matter, then it's Armor is going to be enough where you can go for Headlong Rush or Close Combat.
Interesting. He Terra Ghost of the Mousehold right now.
I think that's kind of smart, because if it survives the Make It Rain, maybe
you can hit my Shadow Ball, right? Because all of a sudden you're susceptible to Shadow Ball. So normally Terra Ghost Mousehold in the supportive set I actually really appreciate, because it gets rid of a lot of like things that you have to worry about. In this case, it gets a Goldengo. I'm kind of surprised here, because Make It Rain is going to do a lot of damage.
No, that was the right. That was a good call. I don't know if it really mattered with the Terra Ghost. Just follow me.
No, it might actually.
Yeah, the Terra Ghost, I don't think really played into that. It was whether it was normal or Ghost was going to do the same. You still get your Trick Room up. Just follow me, plus keeping and knowing that you live that Make It Rain. That was the big thing, because I actually thought that Gio may have Terra'd Steel to get rid of the Mousehold here, but
what I actually don't like in this instance is it's fine that Trick Room is up, but you lose your Terra for the game. So now this Armorage is actually in a little bit of trouble, and as you show is that Iron Hands in the back. Both Armorage and Iron Hands are both Terra Grass, which I really think it's funny that Grass is like such a highly defensive typing here. That was actually a really interesting choice. It's nice, I guess, that Iron Hands comes into play here in place of that Mousehold. The way that the speed here is going to work is going to be kind of wild, because Goldengo might be in a little bit of trouble.
You kind of have two choices. You can either Expanding Force on Great Tusk or Armor Cannon on Golden, and pick which ones. I think personally, I would go for the attack on Great Tusk, because it puts more pressure on Iron Hands, and Golden is now at -1, and it can't really do too much, even with the Shadow Ball. It's just kind of rough, right? Because like now you don't have redirect, so Gio actually kind of has like free reign to figure out. He just has to either hit the Trick Room out here. But it's still kind of, because actually if you can take down the Iron Hands here, if you double down into the Iron Hands, right, the Iron Hands is in
Nate's is still kind of on the back burner because I think you have a lot of tools as Geo in the back to deal with maybe this armor. And so Armor Cannon actually going to go into the Iron.
Surprise also expanding force.
Into the Great Tusk first.
It's enough anyways. It's smart
to knock out.
If you because yeah, that's actually really smart because if you expected like a switch out, it just gotta have. I mean, it was -1, so it makes sense. But I was like worried if you didn't go for if it didn't KO, it was pretty much game over. But Shadow Ball going on to
the armor. Yeah, that's gonna be enough to pick up. It is at -1 because of the armor cannon, so it was gonna pick up that knockout there.
Now it's
gonna is gonna lose that HP because of the life orb. Now though, that Iron Hands is a little bit scary. A really good choice of Nate to bring in the DD now because if that Dragonite is in the back, you have to get rid of the Trick Room turns. But Meowscarada instead, so gonna.
That's really tough because you know that's not going to go down in one hit.
Oh wow, okay. This is actually kind of wild.
I think if I was Nate, what I would go for is Drain Punch on Meow and Dazzling Gleam, so that way you know you get rid of it. Golden's not going to KO hands, and then a Drain Punch on whatever comes out. If it's Dragonite Screamtail, it's not going to do as much, but it's going to recover enough to where you can knock it out.
I don't know who brought Screamtail for this one.
It's probably Dragonite for the last Mon, which Drain Punch will resist, but like I just think Golden's not a threat anymore.
Geo, I think all Geo needs to do here is just wait out Trick Room one more time, which is really sort of like the mantra of the day for most people is I need to wait out Trick Room. I need to wait out Trick Room.
I had to handle that as well when I was playing. Yeah, a lot of times, even in like on stream, like you can see, it was like a lot of it was just trying to get rid of that Trick Room.
Problem with that is Iron Hand's already set up, right? So actually, there's no reason that you can't actually just go for a double protect here with the Mascot and Golden Go to kind of see what's going to happen. The only issue is so there's the protect from Golden Go.
Oh, it's Trick Room, yeah.
But I actually don't think the Meowscarada is also probably going to protect. Yeah.
Okay.
One,
Smart.
again, you burn a turn of Trick Room, and two, you get to see what everything is going for, right? So Thunder Punch probably going into that Golden Go spot, and then Dazzling Gleam here from probably both of them to try to hit both, which is fine. I think because you're not really that scared of the Meowscarada because you have a lot of ways to deal with it. The really important part here is one more turn of Trick Room has been knocked down, and the Iron Hands is scary.
Still 2 turns of Trick Room left. I think, like I said, I think I would. Yeah, I'm Drain Punch onto Meow, and I would go for a Dazzling Gleam. Gets rid of it for sure. Tanks. I mean, it chunks a lot on whatever though. If it's Dragonite, Dazzling Gleam's gonna do solid, and then you just kind of have to hope Golden does whatever. You know, even if you stall out the Trick Room. Swap out a Meow. Okay. See, the thing is, just Golden is minus. It is the Screamtail, not Dragonite.
Interesting.
Okay.
Oh, this poor Screamtail is still going to take a lot of damage from that.
It may KO here, even though it's resistant. It's 4 times.
Oh, this Screamtail is not going to have a fun time too. I think though, even with that 4 times resistance, it's at max. Oh my God, that thing ate that up like crazy. Holy crap!
Okay.
Screamtail is just like And that was a critical hit too. What the heck, man? This is the weird Jigglypuff variant. I'm just what is happening?
Still anyone's game.
This Screamtail was like, I'm gonna show up and show you guys I can be cute and tough at the same time. That's cool. Make It Rain barely does anything to either of these Pokemon.
I think it's now -3 on Golden Go from correct.
It's only -2 because it did Shadow Ball into the armor.
So it's -2.
Cool. Trick Room is on its last turn.
I mean, the interesting thing. Yeah, I mean,
hey, Golden Go, and Screamtail. You both. Well, actually, Golden Go
can protect this, but Screamtail cannot.
If you predict that protect there, that was a critical hit though. So like
you can't Thunder Punch. You can Thunder Punch.
Oh God, this is.
I feel like it's gonna come down to in this case if you're Nate, it's gonna come down to. Are you going to switch the Golden? Are you going to protect the Golden? And what do you prepare for? Thunder Punch will most likely knock out Screamtail. Here's the thing. If they switch out Goldengo, though, like, it resets and now is a threat again. So, who do you hit?
Interesting.
Thunder Punch connecting on the Screamtail gets rid of it.
Oh, cries. Poor Screamtail. Hey, it did its job.
It did do its job. Now it's going to come down to Meow. And I mean...
Dazzling Blim barely does anything.
Yeah, that's like...
It's just,
-3, make it rain now. I mean, at this point, it's 2-on-1.
Rough.
It's gonna come down to Meow. It's or a crit on Make It Rain, but even then, Iron Hands resists. I think with Meowscarada coming out, right? It is fastest. It will knock out NDD, and it is sashed. So the problem is like. It's probably not too hit. I think Nate can stall this out with Iron Hands. You just basically gotta go for the just hope it doesn't protect.
Okay.
Okay, that was the smart play. That was an interesting play. At this point, I don't know if it really matters though because And he's dying anyways this turn.
Is he stealing Terra finally? Is he still tearing? Wait, what's
Terra,
is it
grass. So it's no longer weak to fighting, but it's still really fragile at a max attack Iron Hand. I don't think it's going to really matter, but it will matter for that flower trick. For that flower trick at the very end. But in terms of defense, it won't matter.
Oh, this is so wild, actually.
Okay, that was expected flower trick.
Yeah, flower
Going
trick.
on to the NDD.
Yeah, that NDD's going to go down.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this NDD's gone. That snap of the hand, that's, yeah. The fact that the Meowscarada is actually going to hang on for a turn, if he Shadow Balls into it with this, I actually don't know if that'll... Oh, it's Dark
Thunderbolts?
What?
Okay. I mean,
that did like, literally nothing.
You can't para it either because it's electric type. So now this is what it comes down to. Drain Punch still knocks me out to the Sash. This is basically it. If Meow Flower Trick can one-hit Iron Hands here.
I don't know that it does.
I don't think it can, but that's what it's going to come down to. I was minus 10 HP, but then because Golden is now at a point where
protecting.
Okay, I guess that's smart. I just to see what will happen. That's the only thing that at this point it's like. That's what you do. The only thing Goldenko can do right now is hope for a critical hit on like Shadow Ball. That's about it. Yeah, you just gotta hope for a critical hit on Shadow Ball.
This is actually kind of wild.
It's gonna come down. Yeah, it's gonna be Flower Trick and
depending
crit,
on how much damage Flower Trick can do, I think is what matters here. Yeah. Because between Flower Trick and Shadow Ball, since both of them are faster than Iron Hands.
Also, I think that Protect, by the way, was because Meow has Protect, which is another thing you gotta watch out for, because tanking...
No, you can't just Protect. You have to be aggressive here, I think, because you're faster, so you can't bait that, because that's the problem here, is if something protects, then, like, if Geo protects with either one of these, I think he loses.
Flower Trick.
So Flower Trick with Terra typing here, with Overgrow as well, actually, so that's like,
gonna do quite a bit.
Oh,
74%, not enough. It's coming down to the crit.
It depends on what.
How much damage?
It depends on what here. Oh,
that's 74. Like 74. Oh gosh, that's where the math comes in.
I don't like this. This is stressful.
74.
Oh no, it won't work because the Drain Punch actually is gonna bring it back to orange. Oh,
no, it's 1 HP.
Oh my god.
Because it's Focus Sash.
This is a roll.
It's a roll.
I think.
It's literally a roll.
This is a roll.
74. It's like we're going.
I'm so stressed. The two of us are so stressed right now.
70. Half of 74, if I'm remembering correctly, is 37. Yeah. So it may live this with 1 HP.
This is a roll. This is a roll. This is a roll.
3 HP. 3 HP. Nate is good. Still in it. We're going to game 3.
That was wild. Interesting.
That is a huge recovery right there. Oh my gosh, that was insane.
That was definitely a roll at the end.
Oh yeah.
So, I think interestingly enough, I don't know that I don't know that I agree with how Nate played that one. I'm still trying to figure out the Ghost Marshal.
Yeah, that was the one thing that I was wondering what because Dragonite wasn't on the field. I mean, what I was expecting is maybe they were expecting a close combat onto it because it was, and then you survive it, but they had long rushed, and I probably would have as well. I mean, like, it does the same thing. It's not going to matter at that point.
So
I think that was the
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is literally game 6 for them because they actually did. It was literally a 2-1 for Nate and Geo and Swiss. I remember seeing that.
And Nate won, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So maybe
we're
a
in
repeat
that same
here.
kind of like situation here. I think the really interesting part is letting the Great Tusk actually go down on Geo's side was kind of wild as a choice. That Iron Hand though is just so frustrating to deal with.
It takes so much. I think, like I said, for Geo, the only thing that really threatens Iron Hands.
I agree with this 4 for Nate.
Yeah, I think that's what you got to do.
I think it's the same correct 4.
With
it
Geo,
just puts so much pressure.
See, what I'm thinking with Geo is like, just Iron Hands is so tanky, and looking at what Geo has, like, not a ton can hit it. I mean, Meow, we just saw a Terrestrial Meowscarada only did 75% roughly on it, so I don't know. I mean, you basically got to play around that. That's the hard part. And then, not to mention the whole Armor Rouge attacking it first. So, like, I don't know. This is, I think that's, Yeah, I think that's the right call for
I think Geo needs to be more aggressive in his
definitely.
The
That screen tail did
here-
not do much.
It's not. No. I think the screen tail was fine. I think the critical hit actually mattered possibly a little bit in that instance. No, the issue here is, there's not a great way to break the mouse hold armor rouge sort of lead, right?
Yeah.
Because no matter what happens, Trick Room will go up. The
Pretty
friend
much.
guard is able to stop. Yeah, the Trick Room, the friend guard is able to stop is able to stop like the armor from getting knocked out like in one turn.
Okay, well, this is interesting because with the Great Tusk and Dragonite, Earthquakes are possible. Dragonite.
See, now this is the moment where it's okay if you Terra the mouse hold, because now you can worry about
Extreme speed.
Extreme speed, Terra normal Dragonite will be annoying as heck. So that's the thing, you either do that or you have to just worry about switching in the Indeed. So it's either really one of those.
Don't think it's, I don't know, I wouldn't lock, because it's choice band Dragonite, I wouldn't not lock on knowing that Indeed's a possibility, because then you gotta swap out your Dragonite, and that, you cannot give Nate a free turn. I mean, like, because Armor Rouge and Iron Hands are really powerful.
So he decides to go actually tearing the armor this
Yeah,
time. So
I don't think it's a bad call at all. I think that's what I would have done too.
Honestly, I think armor's grass is just such a great defensive Terra typing. I really do appreciate when people like go for those sort of plays, right? Especially because I don't think the Mashwood might offer as much this time, because the Mashwood generally goes down in that one turn here.
Yeah.
Mashwood is going to be this, going for the follow me. Great Tusk going for the Earthquake.
It's gonna be Ice Spin or a Dragon Claw for this last move, or for his move on Dragonite. Oh, that did not do that much on the Muscle. Dragon Claw does pick up the knockout though, and now Armor Rouge is free to set up that Trick Room and just kind of do a lot. I mean, that's really tough. Yeah, I mean, if you just bring out NDD, you can just spam Expanding Force. Kind of have to force that Great Tusk into a Terra or Protect or Switch. It cannot attack or it dies. And then Dragonite gets hit pretty heavily here. I think also what would be nice too is you have really good attacks right now against Dragonite. NDD, Dazzling Gleam, it's weak to it. It won't do a ton, but it is weak to it. And it probably, if Terra's normal, then Expanding Force is going to take
the problem
a lot,
isn't that it does enough damage. It's the minute that you hit Dragonite, it loses the multi-scale.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what I mean. Like, it doesn't, and then whichever move hits with multi-scale, Dazzling Gleam or Expanding Force, it's going to do okay, but then the other one is going to also do a lot of damage because you have both of those. With the Psychic Terrain, you put that pressure on, then you have the Dragon weakness to Fairy, that puts pressure on. Even you may live it, but like a Dragon Claw is not going to knock out either one of these, and Great Tusk is going to go down if you Expanding Force, so swapping that Dragonite out, yeah, I
think if you protect the Great Tusk here,
that's what I would do for sure.
It definitely, I think, would be in a pretty decent spot.
Yeah, there's Protect. Let's see here.
I mean, so he did double down with both red moves, right? So the Tusk is at least protected for this turn. Goldango was gonna have to take a lot of damage like on that switch, and sure, it takes very little from that, but the Expanding Force is a little bit rough. It also still resisted. The problem is that you are also playing now on Nate's turf.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So much damage.
That's you can't. At that point, I mean, Goldango goes down to another Expanding Force. Great Tusk goes down. Great Tusk is Covert Cloak, so that it's dead. Like at this point, you can just spam Expanding Force. I don't think there's anything you can do here except protect Goldango. Yeah, that's it.
Whatever your last Pokemon in the back can kind of switch in here, and I don't think it would be terrible. It's just really dependent, right? Because now you're just playing a game of you're gonna keep switching out your Pokemon and letting them take damage
until the Trick Room expires.
Until Trick Room expires, and so
that's what you got to do here.
Don't know if that's really like
reliable.
Yeah,
that's not. I mean, because even if you switch, you're gonna take heavy damage from an Expanding Force here. I mean, Great Tusk is switching. I'm gonna guess that's gonna be Screen Tail here. Yeah, Scrata. Okay, that's smart because it's immune to it, but still, and you're gonna see Golden Protect. Smart. This is where I think it was a really interesting call from Nate, because if I remember correctly here, Dazzling Gleam comes out, breaks the sash on Meow. So now, if this does over 50%, just Dazzling Gleam Expanding Force is going to do massive no matter what comes out. It doesn't though, so Meow may live here. I mean, we'll live this Expanding Force because it's immune, but it may live more hits. Now you can't just spam Expanding Force and Dazzling Gleam and win. You have to think about that Meowscarada, because it's not going to go down right away to a Dazzling Gleam. So you have to think about your moves here now, which is kind of what Geo needed to do. I think It's still going to come down to whether or not you can stall at that Trick Room, but
It's rough right now. There's a lot of damage that you've been taking from your Pokemon. Sure, the Great Tusk is still like in a at full health, but between Dragonite and Great Tusk, you're you almost have to let both Goldengo and Meowscarada go down,
you really do.
or you try to attack with the Goldengo, and then Meowscarada is just gonna have to like protect this turn. Because if Goldengo goes down this turn, then you can at least try to protect. Did he reverse his own trick? Is he double reversing his Trick Room? He is. He double reversed his Trick Room. Oh my gosh. That's interesting.
I don't know if that was a good, smart strategy here.
That's
yeah, I was like, knockoff on armor is just gonna get rid of it.
He went for double Trick Room reverse, right?
That's what I saw.
Okay. I like.
Plus, he has to have, because otherwise, the armor and NDD would have gone first.
Yeah, that was an interesting. Oh, you know, I understand what Nate was trying to do. Nate was expecting that something like I think Nate was expecting Geo to either protect or switch out, so not everything would like kind of go down on this turn.
Yeah.
So that's actually kind of rough. Is Nate giving up? No way.
What? And Nate just forfeits it.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
I mean, yeah, there's not much you can do there.
Because there's not much firepower that he has left in there, right? Like at the end of the day, when you're looking at it, the Iron Hands doesn't have as much that it can do. And the problem is Dragonite and Great Tusk are still there. So even if you get rid of the Meowscarada, even if you get rid of the Goldengo, those two Pokemon in the back just have so much firepower, right?
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter that like oh hey cool, Iron Hands is there, cool, it can belly drum and it'll get its HP back. Nothing's gonna happen for it.
Yeah, I mean, especially with Great Tusk and Dragonite, both of which can knock it out. Yeah.
So hey, who knew, guys? Revolving Door Pokemon, actually a pretty decent strategy.
Yeah.
But that was fun.
It was a really fun matchup. Two amazing players and fun teams. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of Pokemon here between Great Tusk, Scream Tail. Obviously, we see Mouse.
Triple Future Paradox Pokemon.
Yeah,
Iron Treads I love so much. I love Iron Treads. I think it's a better design than Great Tusk. I love them
both, but like Treads has been really fun.
Yeah, it's been really good for you too. I saw all this. I was like, wow. But congrats to Geo.
Yes,
finally broke his second place curse.
I know, right? He finally taken a victory here.
Thank you to you guys for watching with us. So list of things to go through. Thank you to Miguel, also known as Pokemon Labs, for hosting a fantastic TO. We love and appreciate you always. I will never stop saying it. Thank you for POW Gaming to hosting us and hosting this stream. Again, if you guys are into Super Smash Brothers, I don't know if any of you saw Genesis support group for people who have been beaten by MKLeo after Cracker resets. But if you want to play Super Smash Brothers, they do have like competitive tournaments here Wednesdays and Saturday nights. They do community nights every now and then, so keep an eye on their social media at POW Gaming. And again, Psycho Turtle Play, you can actually find all of us on Twitter at Psycho Turtle TCG or at POW Gaming as well. We do these VGC events here every 2 weeks, so keep an eye out on those for social media. And as always, thank you for joining us, guys. So have a wonderful night. Oh.